The kiss wasn't supposed to mean anything. It was just a desperate, reckless moment in the bright glare of a crowded afternoon café. 1 second of borrowed courage that would change 2 lives forever. Armin Qureshi had never been the kind of man to act on impulse. Life had trained that out of him long ago. Between early morning school runs, late-night laundry, and the quiet ache of raising his 6-year-old daughter alone, every decision he made was calculated, careful, and rooted in survival. But that afternoon, under the golden warmth of sunlight pouring through glass windows, something inside him snapped. He saw her first, the woman with composed elegance, standing stiffly near the entrance, her eyes locked on a man who looked smug in the worst way. There was pain in her expression, hidden beneath poise, the kind of pain Armin recognized too well. It was the same hollow silence he had seen in the mirror after his wife left this world, leaving him with a child and 1,000 unanswered questions. The man said something that made the woman's lips tighten. And then, without thinking, Armin stood up. Before logic could catch him, before fear could pull him back, he walked straight toward her, gently held her face, and kissed her. It wasn't a passionate kiss. It wasn't romantic. It was soft, brief, and strangely protective, like a shield thrown up in the middle of a storm. Gasps rippled through the cafe. The man's expression shattered instantly, his confidence replaced by confusion and anger. And the woman, she froze, her entire body going still under the weight of the unexpected moment. If you believe that even the smallest act of kindness can change someone's life, take a second right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Heartfelt Stories. Because sometimes one impulsive moment is all it takes to rewrite destiny. Armin stepped back almost immediately, his heart pounding so loudly he thought the whole cafe could hear it. He expected outrage, maybe even a slap. Instead, the woman turned toward the man who had been watching, and for the first time, there was something fierce in her eyes. The man left without another word. Silence followed, thick and heavy, until the woman finally looked back at Armin. Her expression was unreadable, a blend of shock, curiosity, and something deeper he couldn't quite name. Armin quickly apologized, stumbling over his words, explaining that he had acted without thinking, that he had only wanted to help. She studied him for a long moment, as if trying to decide whether he was foolish or brave. Then, to his surprise, she smiled faintly. Her name was Syra Malik. Armin didn't know it then, but Syra was not just any woman. She was one of the most powerful business leaders in the country, a billionaire CEO who had built her empire from nothing, a woman who commanded boardrooms, negotiated million-dollar deals, and never let anyone see her vulnerable, except, apparently, a stranger in a cafe. Their first real conversation was awkward. Armin kept apologizing, and Syra kept brushing it off, though there was an unusual softness in her tone. She admitted, almost reluctantly, that the man had been her ex, someone who had tried to return to her life not out of love, but out of convenience. The kiss, she said, had given her the excuse she needed to finally walk away without looking back. It should have ended there. A strange encounter between two strangers, filed away as a story to laugh about someday. But life, as Armin would soon learn, had other plans. Days later, Syra showed up again, this time at the small bookstore where Armin worked part-time. She claimed she was just browsing, but there was something deliberate about the way she lingered, asking him about books, about life, about how he managed everything on his own. Armin felt out of place around her. She was polished, confident, dressed in a way that spoke of power and control. He was simple, tired most days, his shirt often creased from rushing between responsibilities. Yet, despite the differences, there was an ease between them that neither of them expected. Syra found herself drawn to his honesty. Armin didn't try to impress her. He didn't treat her like a powerful figure. To him, she was just a woman who had needed help one afternoon. And Armin, he found comfort in her presence. For the first time in years, he felt seen not as a struggling single father, but as a man. As their paths crossed more often, Syra slowly became a part of his world. She met his daughter, Meher, who instantly adored her. The little girl, with her endless questions and innocent laughter, melted something in Syra that she had long buried beneath ambition and discipline. But happiness, Armin knew, was never simple. The more he learned about Syra's life, the more he realized how different their worlds truly were. Her days were filled with meetings, decisions that affected thousands of people, and a level of responsibility he couldn't even imagine. His life revolved around making sure Meher had everything she needed, even when he barely had enough. The gap between them wasn't just financial. It was emotional, social, and deeply rooted in who they were. Armin started pulling back. He told himself it was for the best, that someone like Saira deserved a life that matched her status, not one tied to a man who counted every rupee and worried about school fees. Saira noticed the distance immediately, and for the first time in her life, she felt something she couldn't control. Fear. She had built her entire life on certainty, on knowing exactly what she wanted and how to get it. But Armin wasn't a deal she could negotiate. He wasn't a problem she could solve with strategy. He was a man who believed he wasn't enough. The tension between them grew, quiet but heavy. Conversations became shorter. Moments that once felt natural started to feel forced. And yet, neither of them could fully walk away. Until one day, everything came to a breaking point. Armin received an offer for a better job in another city. It was stable, secure, and would give Meher a better future. It was the kind of opportunity he couldn't ignore. So he made a decision. He was leaving. When Saira found out, it felt like the ground had shifted beneath her. She didn't confront him immediately. Instead, she spent an entire day replaying every moment they had shared, every smile, every quiet conversation, every unspoken feeling. And then, for the first time in years, Saira Malik did something completely out of character. She ran. She found him at the park where he often took Meher in the afternoons. The sun was bright. Children were laughing, and life carried on as if nothing had changed. But everything had. Saira stood there breathless, her carefully controlled world unraveling in the simplest way. Armin looked at her, surprised, unsure what she was about to say. And in that moment, all the walls she had built over the years came crashing down. She didn't speak in polished sentences. She didn't hide behind composure. She simply told him the truth, that he mattered to her, that his daughter mattered to her, that the life they could build together was worth more than any fear, any difference, any doubt. Armin listened, his heart caught between hope and hesitation. He had spent so long believing he had to carry everything alone, that accepting love felt almost impossible. But then Meher ran up to them, laughing, her small hand slipping into Saira's as if it belonged there. And something inside Armin finally gave in. Because sometimes love doesn't come in perfect, planned moments. Sometimes it arrives unexpectedly in the middle of chaos, in the form of a single impulsive kiss. If this story touched your heart even a little, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who believes in second chances. Your support keeps stories like this alive. And before we reach the end, tell me in the comments, do you believe one small moment can truly change a life forever? Armin didn't take the job. Saira didn't ask him to change who he was. Instead, they found a way to meet in the middle, to build a life that honored both their worlds without losing themselves in the process. It wasn't perfect. There were challenges, adjustments, and moments of doubt. But there was also laughter, warmth, and a sense of belonging neither of them had felt in a long time. And it all started with a kiss that wasn't supposed to mean anything, but ended up meaning everything. Because sometimes the most unexpected moments carry the power to heal, to connect, and to remind us that even after loss, even after heartbreak, life still has beautiful surprises waiting just around the corner.